It is a pleasure that I get, being President Judge, to present these awards. This is something that hasn't always been part of our Law Day program, but several years ago we decided, or the Bar Association decided, that this was the appropriate place to recognize a couple of students who have participated in the essay contest. And I would first like to recognize Alexis McGuire. Alexis is being presented with a financial award for her participation. Congratulations very much. Alexis was the 5th grade essay award winner, and I would now like to recognize the 10th grader who won the essay award, and that is Nicholas Rhodes. Congratulations.
It is my honor today to introduce our guest speaker, Roger Ullman. And as you see on the back of the program, he has been a teacher at Cornwall Lebanon School District, and he's been there for 28 years. He teaches American government and civics. He's a proud member of our community, where he is married and has raised his daughter. And he even has a granddaughter in Hershey currently. But I wanted to know more about him besides what was on the program. So I had an opportunity to ask around about Mr. Ullman. And I found out that there are members of our Bar Association that had him as a teacher. And we have members of our association whose children have passed through his program. And I kept hearing the same thing over and over and over again about him. That he is energetic. That his passion about government and our responsibility with our government is contagious to both our children and their parents. So I would ask you today to give a warm welcome to Mr. Ullman.
Good afternoon. It's a glorious day. Beautiful sun out there. So thank you, Liz, for that warm introduction. I'd like to just take this opportunity to thank the court, President Judge Tillwalk, thank you for inviting me here. Associate Judge Jones, I thank you too for inviting me here as part of this very special celebration. And I even got to get out of middle school in May. That's fantastic. Because in middle school in May, the kids think that May and June are the same month. So it's, we have to do a little better teaching our calendar that there's 2 separate months. But thank you for everybody for being here today. As Liz said, I've been teaching for 28 years. I've taught the concept of citizenship. We teach about, the rules about citizenship through birth or through naturalization of the process. And we also teach about the importance of a free people and their willingness to obey the law. All these things go together. So what a pleasure it is for me to be able to share with all of you on your recent achievements, your accomplishments, in essence, new beginnings, as you take your final step into a successful law career and your final steps into a path to American citizenship. So my congratulations. This is a wonderful celebration. It's a great day. The course I teach at Cedar Crest is it's called American Studies. It's called Civics. And we teach about the birth of a nation. We teach about the roots of our democracy, the struggle that the colonists had against England and tyranny. We talk about the Founding Fathers and their efforts into writing the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and we study the limitations we have on our rights. We study about the 3 branches and the things like checks and balances and those things. And the election process, we talk about that. But the most rewarding thing I've had for 28 years is that at the end of the school year, we take our 8th grade class to Washington, D.C. And they don't get to experience the hands-on, see government, like they don't go see a congressional debate, they don't see votes being taken, but they get to see the seat of our government, at least to see where that's being taken place. So when Judge Jones asked me to come here today to speak about Law Day, and he said that the topic was democracy, the rule of law, and how much our votes count, I thought, what a great opportunity for me, because I've been teaching this for so long. And it's an honor for me to be here and share some brief comments with you. To me, the rule of law and having our voice heard through voting are 2 of the very basic concepts that democracy is not just built on, but they are the 2 concepts that hold a democratic society together. And they go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. They go hand in hand. And they're virtually inseparable. And the fact that we're here today in this celebration, I think, speaks to that. To emphasize how they work together, I want to just Washington, D.C., and talk about two symbolic things here, historic monuments, buildings, and so forth. And I want to start with the Jefferson Memorial. Now, you wonder why I would take the Jefferson Memorial. Of all the monuments in Washington, you think, well, I would select maybe like the Washington Monument, because that just is an attention grabber. When you go there, you see this huge monument, 585 feet high, in honor of George Washington. The Jefferson Memorial, it's kind of off the beaten path. Not even people don't even visit it because it's off the mall area. You got to walk a little bit to get to it. It's a 6-foot bronze statue of Thomas Jefferson. So it's not something that really grabs your attention. Or not like the Lincoln Memorial where you go inside the columns and you see Lincoln sitting there. He almost like takes over. He's like powerful. The Jefferson Memorial is not like that. But the significance of the Jefferson Memorial is not the statue itself, but it's the words that are written around it under the building that houses that statue. And in there it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal." Words from one of the most famous documents that this world has known, and penned by Jefferson. He's called the author of the Declaration because of those famous words. And what was he implying? That all men are created equal? Well, he certainly probably wasn't implying that we're all going to look alike. We're not all going to have the same beliefs. We're not all going to have the same values. We're not going to believe the same things religiously. Okay? What he was talking about, though, was the rule of law. That they were going to actually embark upon a new experiment, start a nation based on a basic premise of justice and fairness. That everybody would be treated the same under the law by our government. No matter what your religious belief is, no matter what color skin you have, no matter how much you have in your pocket or you don't have in your pocket, no matter how many plaques you have on your wall, everybody is treated the same under the law. That there is no divine special treatment or exclusion, not in the United States. Because of those famous words, everybody will be treated the same. So I wanted to start with that, with the Jefferson Memorial. And remember, the rule of law implies justice and implies fairness. Okay? And you can go right across the mall to the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and you can see that concept working. Because most people believe that our president, because of our country, would be the most powerful elected, probably the most powerful leader in the world. Yet he is not above the law. And you can see that, you can go right back to Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon versus the United States, you see that concept working, that even the president of the United States, the most powerful leader in the world, is not above our law. We're all the same under our law. Now, please don't think that I'm naive, that I believe that we live in a perfect world, because I know sometimes there is injustice, there is unfairness. But when we're talking about the government, we're all supposed to be treated the same as the government. Now, how do we guarantee that the rule of law is not some figment of our imagination? Something that we kind of like reach out to when we try to grasp it, we never get a hold of it. It slips out of our hands. How do we know that it becomes a permanent part of our life? Well, to answer that question, we go right up Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol building, the United States Capitol building. And Washington, D.C., guys, is a very unique concept for a nation's capital. It is the only capital city in the world that was designed. There was nothing there. It was pasture land. It was a swamp. And George Washington, the first president, decided that we needed a permanent place to have our national government. So Washington decided to have a contest. And he'd have people submit designs for Washington, D.C., and he would pick the winner. And it just so happens that the winner he picked was a guy from France named Lafont. And Lafont designed the city of Washington. And interestingly, what he picked to be the center of that city was the United States Capitol, the center of Washington, D.C. Now, why did he pick that building? Because that building represents the essence of our government, representative democracy. That building represents the fact that we elect, we choose our government leaders. And the thing is that we elect those people from our own neighborhoods, from our own communities, from people down the street. We pick those people. And here's the kicker. These are the very people who make the rules that we live by. They make the policies that we live by day. And those policies and those rules are supposed to stand for fairness. It's supposed to stand for justice. So, through the strength of our united vote, the election process ensures that it's our responsibility to pick people who respect fairness, who respect justice, who stand up for it. it's our responsibility that those cherished values are upheld. And it's no one else. I know today sometimes we go around and say, oh, it's all about you, it's all about me. But in this case, it's all about us. It's our responsibility to choose the right people to represent us and stand up for the rule of law, stand up for fairness and justice. How important is our vote? Think about Abraham Lincoln. Think about his words, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Well, if you want a government for the people, then it's our responsibility to do the by. That we need to do our part. We need to be responsible and elect the right people. A little bit out of context about voting and stuff, but in 2000, Al Gore lost the presidential election, and he lost it because of Florida. After all the votes were tallied, he lost Florida by 547 votes. And Al Gore makes this comment, I'm going to read this, misquote Al Gore, but he says, in our democracy, every vote has power, and never forget that power is yours. Don't let anyone take it away or talk you into throwing it away. So our vote does have power. So two historic symbols, the Jefferson Memorial, fairness and justice, and the Capitol building, our responsibility to vote, capture the importance of the rule of law and our voting, and how they relate to each other. And think about it, if we wouldn't have those things, it's very possible that, because democracy is more than just, it's a way of life. So think about fairness and justice. If we wouldn't have those things in voting, would we have human dignity in our country? Or would we lose that? Would we have respect to the individual? Or would we lose that? Equal opportunity, where everybody has the same chance to set goals and work for those. Would we lose that if we didn't have that fairness and justice? We can be different because of that. We can have different beliefs. We can be bait and not be punished for it. We're innocent until proven guilty, seeking the truth. We have a rule by majority in a democracy, but the rights of minorities are respected. We have a responsive government that meets the basic needs of people. And somehow, day by day, somehow we do this. We manage the delicate balance between freedom and security in this country. Somehow we keep doing that. And remember, these things are optional. They're part of our way of life. Because of those famous words, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and the right to vote. So as you go forward today, new beginnings. For those people who are being sworn to the bar, no matter what side you take, no matter what you argue, stand for justice, stand for fairness. And for those people who are getting their path to citizenship fulfilled today, make sure you're responsible and go out and vote. So as you go forward, embrace those things with great passion. And my congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much.